All right. So like, I don't know what happened, but anyway. So like I said about Denzel, he was just a passionate fan, doing what the fans do. Um, but all of a sudden it was controversial, because he's original man. But it was a healthy, masculine release, and we're in a society where we preach that masculinity is toxic. But it wasn't toxic. Um, Hove intervened, and like I said, we need more intervention in our community because a lot of people die for like stuff that could have been de-escalated if he just had a clear head in the room, somebody unattached from the situation. They got a fresh perspective, could like calm the situation down. Because like a lot of times when our young men get killed in the streets, it's over something that wasn't really all that serious to begin with. But then you got a whole bunch of people around hyping it up, taking their phones out because they want to see some drama instead of just squashing it, cooling it out. So thank goodness Hope was there and it didn't escalate any further. Which brings us to another, testosterone charged debacle. Uh, two friends, lifelong friends, friends of over 30 plus years, label mates of over 30 plus years, um, had a little discrepancy. And it wasn't really a big deal, but the media and people from the outside looking in try to hype it up and make it a big deal for financial gain. Um, but it was, their disagreement was just healthy male exchange, and I appreciated how it went down. Um, it was just a healthy male, heterosexual male disagreement. They looked each other in the eyes like men, and they aired out their grievance instead of hiding behind the computer, doing it in the comment section and back and forth on Instagram and back and forth on Twitter. They looked at each other like men in the face and said whatever they had to say to one another. And it didn't end in fisticuffs. It got really heated, intense, but no physical violence was imminent. And I'm speaking, of course, of what happened between two rap legends, Willie D and Scarface of the Ghetto Boys. So they have their own podcast series called Ghetto Boys, and Willie G wanted to address the elephant in the room because he had expressed um, his feelings of contentment about not being invited to perform on the Grammys. The Ghetto Boys, when they got to the Ghetto Boys section, I think just like Scarface just did his verse on playing tricks on me, and so they discussed it candidly on their podcast, and one thing got led to another. They called each other some names, but it wasn't. I feel it wasn't toxic. I felt like that's just what normal heterosexual males do. That's how we vent. You know, we can do that and not turn into a physical altercation. And not saying like, if you don't engage in arguments that you're soft or, not masculine. I'm just saying like, that's how we handle our disagreements and discrepancies. And, it's some man stuff. They looked each other in the face. They were sitting across. If they wanted it, to be physical. It could have got physical, but it wasn't physical. And, you know, which brings me to my point about, this internet. It's like so many people try to chime in and really try to milk the cow, really try to get paid off of that incident. It wasn't even an incident; it was a conversation, but they clickbaiting, putting in their captions. Um, Willie D and Scarface almost come verbally to blows. How you verbally come to a blow? You can't verbally come to blows. You can't. I don't even know. That don't even make sense. Like people was doing that type of stuff and like drama and could this be the end of the Ghetto Boys forever and all these like stupid little headlines that they're doing to like get people to watch that little uh, 2 and 3 minute excerpt from their podcast, The Ghetto Boys. Like so many people trying to chime in and cash in, but like I said, this internet has been weaponized against us to believe, negativity is the only way you can, garner a bag. And it was a healthy disagreement between two heterosexual gentlemen, airing out their grievances. They're both artists, so chalk it up to temperamental artists. Don't chalk it up to, there they go, angry black men, niggas on camera acting niggerish. Don't chalk it up to that. You know what I mean? Because both of them had valid points. So they had a disagreement and they agreed to disagree on camera. It was just on camera other than that. But this internet is crazy how it warps our minds and plays us against each other. I seen a video about this young man who got confronted with a Karen. This Caucasian lady asked him what he was doing, and wanted to see some ID. And instead of being mortified, the young brother, he was glad. He was happy. He was like, this is my first Karen encounter. Runs away, he got the phone in his hand. Oh my God, my first Karen encounter. Like, bruh, no, your first Karen encounter, bruh, you was in danger. Do you know these Karen bras? They will get you killed by the police. They will get you arrested by the police. That's not a good thing to have a Karen encounter. That's not a good thing. But the internet warps your mind, making you think, you're going to go viral and get clicks and views and going to, snag you a bag. But bruh, dealing with them Karens, you can lose your life. That wasn't no good experience. But anyway, to put a pin in my final point that I was talking about with the Ghetto Boys, it was a totally healthy conversation that they had, a meeting of the minds, a much needed vent. They vetted to each other. He got it off his chest, and I don't think their partnership, their business shit, nothing's affected. They said what they needed to say. They addressed it, and now let's move on and quit trying to milk the moment and try to make it be something that it wasn't. So get onto your lives and stop letting this internet just turn you into pawns. Well, that's it, and that's all, family. That's all I got for you. Hope you enjoyed this segment of live edition of the Narrative Podcast. Tune in this weekend. Join me for another full edition of the Narrative Podcast with a full episode. This was just a light bite live. Glad you decided to tap in and chop it up with me. So got all kinds of stuff planned in the future, but for now, just tune in this weekend to the Narrative Podcast. Support the channel, download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Make sure you support my book called The Black Card. Go to Poetizer Bookstore and purchase it right now today. And support my personal poetry blog called Halsey's Poetry Corner. The address is at www.mrhalseysblogs.com. My tagline is Halsey's Poetry Corner, poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. You support by sharing one poem or all my poems to whatever your preferred platform is. You know, your Facebook, your Twitter, your YouTube, your whatever. But just share a poem from Halsey's Poetry Corner to it. And thank you guys for listening. You've been so gracious. Thank you, peace and love, family. I'm about to raise on up out of here. Also, I broadcast live every single week, every single weekday. To not miss me when I go live, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the bell notification, subscribe, and you will never miss me when I'm live. And I'm Halsey Allen on YouTube. I'm also Halsey Allen on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter, and you will never, miss me when I'm on either one of those. Because this platform broadcasts live directly to both of those. So, follow me on both of those, and you will never miss me when I'm live. So that's it, and that's all, y'all. Join me this weekend for a full episode of the Narrative Podcast. Halsey Allen and the Narrative Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
Set your place on fire. Put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, get a little bit of gasoline. Put a little bit of shit, put a